Hai, Assalamualaikum. Hari ini saya nak kongsikan kepada anda satu program yang menarik di bawah kelolaan IIUM Academy. Foundation Program adalah satu program yang telah direka untuk menyediakan para pelajar dengan ilmu kemahiran dan pengetahuan yang diperlukan untuk memasuki ke alam ijazah sarjana muda. IIUM Academy menawarkan pelbagai kursus yang menarik yang boleh anda pilih dan padankan dengan minat anda. Foundation program ini terbuka kepada Malaysian student dan international student. IIUM Academy telah menerima pelajar daripada serata dunia seperti Thailand, Indonesia, Sudan, Maldives, Uzbekistan dan banyak lagi. Untuk pertanyaan lanjut, anda boleh layari ke laman web kami ataupun laman media sosial kami, ataupun anda boleh email kami.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning to everyone. How about the sound? Is it loud enough? I see. Okay. On behalf of the organizer, we apologize for the technical issue just now. Okay. So to begin with, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, as a reminder for everyone, please make sure your microphone is turned off to avoid any interruption during this throughout the session this morning. Okay, greetings to our Madam Malini Silva Raju from Ombudsman for Financial Service OFS. Hello, and also hi. Madam Winnie Chan from SIDREC, Security Industry Dispute Resolution.
Yeah. Good
So,
morning. Selamat pagi.
Good morning, selamat pagi, Madam Malini and Madam Winnie. You already have your breakfast?
Yeah, we are done.
Alhamdulillah. Okay. Today we are quite lucky this morning because we have our esteemed guest speaker for Baseerah Talk series for episode 17. So for your information, Baseerah Talk series is a monthly program held since March last year, where we invite various prominent speakers from skill and professional fields who will present topic related to their respective fields. One of our past speakers is our Tan Sri, I forgot his name, who is prominent in Sukuk. Okay, so before we start our session today, let me introduce the profile of our special guest for Madam, which is Madam Malini, whereby she graduated from the University of Malaya with a bachelor degree in biotech. Oh, biotechnology is not easy, an easy field. So she is an accredited mediator certified by the Malaysian Mediation Center. Madam Malini also joined OFS in August 2013 as a case manager handling disputes relating to life, family, and medical claims. She has over 14 years of experience in life, family takaful, and medical insurance. In 2022, she was promoted as senior case manager and overseeing the insurance and takaful division. What I have here is kind of, you are very prominent speakers in takaful.
I hope so. I am.
Let's hope so. Okay. For our second session, whereby we have Madam Winnie Chan, who will share with us with her alternative dispute with her topic, the alternative dispute resolution in the capital market. Madam Winnie Chan holds a Bachelor of Law degree from the University of London. Is it correct, Madam?
That's correct. Yeah.
She has been called to the High Court of Malaya and the High Court of Sabah and Sarawak. She is also an accredited mediator with the Bar Council Malaysian Mediation Center and a member of Asian Institute of Chartered Bankers. Madam Winnie Chan also commenced her career as a civil and criminal law practitioner for 20 years prior to joining SIDREC. She also has expertise in commercial banking litigation and other professional misconduct on negligence and landlord tenant disputes. Her main portfolio in the field of criminal law includes representation of individuals in complex drug trafficking offense, white-collar crimes, corruption charges, and general offenses under the penal code. I see. So we are so lucky today because both speakers today is very prominent in their own related fields. So without further ado, with all due respect, I would like to invite our first speaker today, Madam Malini, to share about the alternative financial dispute resolution avenue. Please welcome Madam Malini.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Alia Rabzi. So first of all, good morning, everyone. I am Malini here. So thank you for giving us the opportunity to share about OFS today. I hope you all are doing good, and let us begin our session for today. Let me share the screen here. Okay, is the screen can be seen?
Yes, madam.
Okay, so okay, let us begin our session today. So as Mr. Alia said just now, our topic today is the alternative financial dispute resolution avenue. One moment. Okay. Okay, so first of all, what is an ombudsman? Ombudsman is actually a Swedish term, which means a representative. Ombudsman is an independent person or body who resolves disputes fairly and speedily away from the courts or other legal means. So let me have a brief rundown on our OFS background. So OFS, which is formerly known as the FMB, Financial Mediation Bureau, was incorporated in 2004 and commenced its operation in 2005. OFS is a company limited by guarantee and a non-profit organization. We serve as an alternative dispute resolution channel. We resolve disputes between its members who are financial service providers, licensed or approved by Bank Negara Malaysia, and financial consumers. OFS operates the FOS, which is the Financial Ombudsman Scheme, approved by the BNM, pursuant to the Financial Services Act 2013 and the Islamic Financial Services Act 2013. The FOS was launched on 1st October 2016. Okay, now let us go into our dispute resolution process. Our OFS jurisdiction says that we can only handle direct financial losses disputes within the following scope. For banking and Islamic banking products and services, the maximum is 250K. For insurance and takaful claims, 250K. Unauthorized transactions via credit, debit card, internet, mobile banking, ATM and check, and e-wallet is maximum of 25K. Motor third-party property damage insurance and takaful claims, a maximum of 10K. We do handle cases more than the jurisdiction amount stated, but with the consent from both parties. Both parties must allow us to mediate the matter. Then only we will handle any cases which is above the jurisdiction stated here. Below are the OFS members: licensed commercial bank and Islamic bank, prescribed development financial institution, licensed insurer and takaful operator, approved issuer of designated payment instrument, approved insurance broker and takaful broker, approved financial advisor and Islamic financial advisor. Who are our eligible complainants? An eligible complainant is a financial consumer who uses any financial services or products provided by a financial service provider. OFS has the sole discretion in determining whether a consumer is an eligible complainant to file a dispute with OFS or not. Such determination is final and binding on the FSP and the eligible complainant. So individual here means for personal, domestic or household purposes. Small and medium enterprises is in connection with small businesses. So example of eligible complainants are insured person under a group insurance, like when you're working in a company, you have a group insurance company. So if you're insured under that, person under group takaful also applies. Third party who's making a claim for property damage under motor insurance or takaful. Guarantor of a credit facility. Nominees or beneficiaries under a life policy or family takaful certificate, or a personal accident policy or personal accident takaful certificate. This is where like a death case happens, then, a beneficiary can come and submit the claim. Insured persons or covered person and beneficiaries of the insured person or covered person under a group insurance or takaful certificate. So what is the time limit for referring a dispute to OFS? Before referring to OFS, consumers must submit a formal complaint to their FSPs first. If they are not satisfied with the complaint outcome, then they can file the dispute with OFS within 6 months after receiving the final complaint outcome from the FSP. They also can come to us if there is no response from the FSP 60 days after filing a formal complaint. This is where you have lodged a complaint, but you did not receive any response at all for 60 days. Then you can definitely come to us. Similar to the jurisdiction, OFS may consider a dispute that falls outside the above time limit if there are exceptional circumstances warranting OFS to accept the dispute. If the FSP consented or the consumer was seriously ill throughout the period. Okay, OFS is free for consumers and no lawyers are involved when filing disputes here in OFS. OFS also shall not consider the following disputes: anything related to service, product features, credit decision, underwriting, third-party bodily injury or death claim, disputes referred to court or arbitration, and time-barred disputes. So it's usually for Malaysia, Peninsula Malaysia is 6 years from the date of the event, and for Sabah Sarawak it's 3 years. So what are the methods that we use here? The negotiation, conciliation, and mediation. So we do discussions with the disputing parties, intervene in the dispute to resolve. It's an avenue for parties to understand the issues, sharing an alternative viewpoint, and also create an opportunity to clarify information. These are the things that we always do during our negotiation, conciliation, or mediation. So our stages are actually divided into 3. First, screening, followed by the case management, which is we call the first stage, and ends with the adjudication stage, which is the second stage. So what does it happen in the screening stage? So in the screening stage, the consumer engagement and analysis handles complaints and inquiries received from consumer via mail, fax, email, walk-in, and online. Complaints are carefully screened to be selected as eligible disputes according to the OFS jurisdiction and monetary limit. This is where we will strictly check if all the criteria has been fulfilled before we take the case for further assessment. Ensuring all required information and relevant documents are received for the case registration. Then it is passed through the case management stage where a case manager will come into the picture. So the case manager works towards a mutually acceptable settlement and facilitates the disputes through mediation first, within the 3 months from the date of receipt of full document. If no settlement can be reached, then the case manager will issue a recommendation within 30 days. If both parties accept the recommendation, the dispute is considered resolved. If either the complainant or FSP rejects the recommendation, they may refer the dispute to the ombudsman for adjudication within 30 days from the recommendation date. So how does investigation of disputes is handled here? So first, of course, we assess the dispute. Then we initiate the investigation and we assess the facts and evidences standard. So the facts and info related to the dispute will be identified and analyzed. A questionnaire will be prepared for the relevant parties to answer, the parties to provide relevant documents or evidence and info, clarification in writing. A thorough investigation will be carried out after gathering the details or evidence and verifying the accuracy of the facts with the parties. So sample of the documentary evidence that we usually request for is reports such as the FSP investigation report, telco report. Telco report is mostly for the scam cases, medical report for medical insurance claims, adjuster report mainly for motor insurance claims, screenshots of conversation or advertisements such as WhatsApp or emails. This is specifically for mis-selling cases where a person come and allege that the agent have mis-sold a policy to them. CCTV footages, call recordings and transcripts. This call recordings usually is from the FSP lah. Usually we will request them to give us the call recordings that they made to the complainant to verify the facts. FSP's procedure manuals, policy or certificate document, electric journal, and other important documentation relevant to the dispute. So what do we look for in our investigation usually? Evidence supporting the FSP's decision, whether the FSP's decision was in accordance with BNM guideline and industry practice, circumstances of the case, and what is fair and reasonable in that particular case. Approach to mediation. So mediation If deemed necessary, the case manager will conduct the interview via telephone, or we will call them for a face-to-face meeting. The case manager may meet any of the parties to a dispute jointly or separately. We can call the FSP first and then the complainants also, or we can call them together and have the mediations at our office together, or we also do conduct the mediations via online. The case manager may send observation letters or preliminary views to disputing parties, giving them a reasonable opportunity to provide justification to resolve the matter amicably. If the disputing parties fail to reach an amicable settlement, the case manager will issue a recommendation. So parties to this is approach to adjudication. So let's say after the party would like to refer the matter for adjudication by the ombudsman, then the parties to a dispute shall be given a reasonable opportunity to provide information and submission of documents relating to the dispute. The ombudsman may request further data, documents, and information relevant to the dispute from the parties. The ombudsman may provide a preliminary assessment of the dispute before adjudication is made. Adjudication by the ombudsman. The ombudsman shall adjudicate the dispute independent of the findings or recommendation made by the case manager and issue a final decision within 14 days from the date of the complete documentation. A final decision of the ombudsman by way of adjudication is the end of our OFS dispute resolution process here. Neither the complainant nor the FSB can appeal against an ombudsman decision. The complainant may choose whether to accept or not the ombudsman decision. If the complainant accepts the ombudsman decision within 30 days from the decision date, the disputing parties are bound by such decision. If the complainant does not accept, the disputing parties are free to pursue their rights through other means, including legal process or arbitration. Okay, just to share, these are the disputes, total number of disputes that we have been receiving since 2017. So as you're aware, 2016, we started our OFS. So the trend, if you look at it, it has been on the rise, especially due to the past 3 years since 2020, due to this financial scams in banking related matters. So nature of complaints or claims that we receive are unauthorized online transactions, non-conformance with the policy terms, breach of terms and condition, such as late notification of claim. This is mostly on the motor insurance, non-possession of expired driving license, issues with chargeback on and loss or stolen credit card or debit card, non-disclosure or misrepresentation in the proposal form, failure to take reasonable precaution in safeguarding the vehicles, short dispensation of ATM, shortage of cash accepted from the cash deposit machine, compensation for travel cancellation and curtailment, mis-selling of insurance products as savings, and loss of use compensation of vehicles while being repaired. Okay, let us now go to our case studies. So we will share now some of the cases that we have handled here for your better understanding. So first, we would like to share on the travel insurance claim. This is on the agent's lack of information. So this person, Guru, met an agent to inquire about suitable travel coverage for his family trip. Having listened to the explanation, he purchased the coverage a few days before the trip. He gave the dates and other travel details to the agent. One day before the trip, his family member was tested COVID-19 positive and cancelled the trip. Their cancellation was rejected. Cancellation claim was rejected because the takaful coverage was purchased less than 14 days before the departure date. So this particular policy has this clause where it must be purchased more than 14 days before the departure date. So Guru was unhappy because the agent did not inform him of this condition, and he referred the matter to us. We opined that agent must have known that and should have highlighted this matter to him. If he had been aware of this, how this condition could affect his claim, he would have considered other coverage or purchased that he had inquired with the agent over several visits. This key point should have been clearly communicated to the prospective client. We
Miss Sasikala, I think Madam Malini is frozen just now.
To proceed with his travel plan. Arman's takaful operator. Okay, can everybody hear me? I can, because it's
I
showing.
think your line is breaking just now.
Okay, now can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so where did you hear last? Is it they decided to rent a car?
Last slide, previous slide.
Previous slide.
The last point. At the Joe. The call one.
Guru.
The Joe call.
This one, is it the Arman flight to London?
Yes. Correct.
Okay, so it's Arman's flight to London, from London to Edinburgh was cancelled due to system disruption. His flight was rescheduled to the next day. However, the replacement flight was also cancelled for the same reason. So Arman decided to rent a car to proceed with his travel plans. Arman's takaful operator repudiated his claims for the car rental, additional accommodation bookings, and other miscellaneous expenses. If under the travel inconvenience benefit, no flight cancellation and car rental benefits were listed. So any consequential losses are also excluded from the policy. So Arman was dissatisfied with the outcome and he submitted the case to us. So our findings is that system disruption is not one of the covered perils under the travel delay benefit. So the case manager upheld the takaful operator's decision, and finally Arman accepted the recommendation. Okay, this is related to banking. So in April 2021, Joe clicked a link to an ad for a gambling site on Facebook, which directed him to payment page. He entered his username, password, and PIN. On 13 April, about 5:30, he received an OTP from his bank for RM4K transfer to an unknown third party. Joe discovered a fund transfer from his account. He reported the transfer at 6 o'clock, within 30 minutes to his bank. The funds were only withdrawn from the recipient's account 10:30 a.m. the next day. Joe denied performing the transaction and contended that he did not reveal the banking credential to any third party. The bank rejected the claim, stating that the transfer was executed with a valid username, password, and OTP. The bank only initiated recovery by contacting the beneficiary bank on 14 April, 1 o'clock, which is the next day, the day after Joe alerted the bank. So the bank stated that they received Joe's report after business hours. Thus, the recovery action was only taken only on the next business day. So Joe was dissatisfied with the outcome and he submitted the matter to us. We opined that there was no immediate recovery efforts were taken by the bank, and the funds could have been recovered had the bank acted promptly upon receiving the complaint. So when we highlighted this matter to them, the bank agreed to refund Joe 70% of the loss, 70% from the 4K amount which was transferred. Okay, next is this one is quite rampant, yeah. Facebook made ad scam. Bob saw an ad for a cheap cleaning service on Facebook and messaged the sales rep on WhatsApp. The rep sent Bob a link to make a payment, which led him to a payment gateway where he entered his internet banking user ID and password. There was difficulty in making the payment via the link, so he dropped it. Later, Bob received several TACs and post-transactions alert from his bank. Bob called his bank, but was told that 20K was transferred to an unknown account. He denied it and filed a complaint. He also contended that his daily limit was only 5K. Bank rejected the claim, stating that the transfers were done using authenticated TAC. There was also a request to increase Bob's daily transaction limit to 30K, which was approved and enabled the transaction. Bob was unhappy and he contacted us. Bob's bank user ID, password, and tag were compromised via phishing malware. When he clicked the link and insert his details there, it has already been compromised. So the fund transfers were made to the same account in a short span of time, along with the request to increase his daily limit. Ombudsman is of the view that it's the bank's duty to monitor any unusual online transactions. Likewise, Bob as a consumer also should have been more cautious before clicking any link. Thus, OFS apportioned the loss equally between Bob and the bank. Means each party have to tanggung 10,000 lah. Okay, this one is a Macau scam. So pensioner succumbs to Macau scam. Yan, a pensioner, got a call from telco company. Yan was told her name was misused to create a bank account. The call was transferred to someone impersonating a police officer, to whom Yan revealed her banking, pilgrimage, fund account, and credentials and TAC. Unaware that she fell victim to a scam, she believed that she was cooperating with the police when sharing the credentials. Later, feeling suspicious, she blocked her accounts. 2 days later, she discovered that 75K was transferred from her pilgrimage fund. Yan's claim was rejected as the internet and mobile banking were registered with her valid debit card number, PIN, and tag sent to her phone number, registered with the bank. Yan's pilgrimage fund was linked to her bank account via her debit card. Thus, the online link between the both accounts was automatically available upon registration. The transfer from Yan's pilgrimage fund were made within 10 minutes after new device was linked to the internet banking account. Yan contended that she did not authorize the internet or mobile banking registration. She always performed her transaction at the counter or ATM. Our findings showed that the pattern did not match Yan's previous transactions. Additionally, the mobile banking registration tag did not specify the device make and model or a warning about disclosing the tag. The transaction limit increased and post notification for successful transactions were only sent to the scammer device, not to the Yan's number. The bank should have called Yan to verify when multiple large fund transfers were being made soon after the internet banking registration and binding of a new device, which could have prevented the scam. Thus, we recommended that the bank refund 25,000, which Yan and bank also both accepted. Okay, these are some of the scam tactics, yeah? So the cleaning service, durian, fresh seafood, then via SMS or Facebook Messenger, maid, and then some Amazon gift card, My Sejahtera, Bantuan Rakyat lah. So these are some of the scam tactics that we notice. And beware, so this is just a reminder that, beware of scammers. Do not fall for mule account scams. Do not rent out your bank account to anyone. Do not accept suspicious job offers that ask for your banking details. Do not be deceived by scammers pretending to be your loved ones. Do not help anyone receive or transfer funds using your bank account. Enforcement will be taken against you if you're found to be a money mule. Don't share your personal or banking credential with anyone. Don't reveal your TAC or OTP. Use strong password. Change your username or password periodically. Don't download any dubious apps or APK files to your device. Don't click any odd or suspicious emails or website links. Also remember to hang up on calls from unknown numbers claiming to be authorities, government agencies, or banks. So what to do if you fall for a scam? Call your bank immediately and block your bank account or card to prevent further losses. Or call National Scam Response Center 997 to report the scam. File a police report immediately. Keep all the relevant details and evidence and submit to the bank. Okay, with that, we end our session. Thank you, everyone. So you may contact OFS via Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. So this is our address. So anything, if you have any questions, I will address it after our session ends later. Thank you. So over to you, Mr. Alia.
Thank you to Madam Malini for the presentation just now. If you have any question, you may unmute your microphone and also type your question at the chat box below and at the end of this session. For our second session today, I would like to invite Madam Winnie Chan, who will share with us her title, The Alternative Dispute Resolution in the Capital Market. Please welcome, Madam Winnie.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Isaac, the host for today's session. I also want to thank, on behalf of SIDREC, to the IIUM Academy for inviting SIDREC to share our expertise, our experiences when it comes to dispute resolutions in the capital market. All right, let me just share the slides. Okay, can everyone see my slides?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, like what I mentioned before, the my topic today is alternative dispute resolution in the capital market. So I'm the senior case manager for SIDREC. So before I proceed with the presentation, a bit of a caveat in respect of the scope of today's webinar. It's only for disseminating information to the academy for the participants' information. So what is capital markets? Before we go into dispute resolution, what is capital markets? So throughout history, capital markets played a very important role in the corporate world and ultimately in the economic development of every nation. So a bit of historical origins from the medieval Venetian time, where precursors to modern day bonds, known as presenti, were issued to finance government expenditures. So we are looking at how the world capital markets has grown to enable household wealth creation, how government create wealth as well as economies is being developed. So before we go on further, so what is capital markets? If you look at the slides, when you hear the term market, do you think of a grocery store, a flea market, or a dealership? Yes, no doubt all these are markets, but it's just different ways of how markets develop. Because essentially a market is a place or an arrangement where we have buyers and sellers come together to exchange goods and services. So, but now the world has developed. We don't just see market as in the grocery shop or markets in the supermarket. The market can occur now over the internet, over the phone. So when you buy tablets or books for your children, for your family, or groceries or fuel, you are participating in the what you call a very physical market. But when you are buying through the online, you're going through online, you're buying shares, you're buying derivative, you're investing, you are participating in capital markets in a new form of buying and selling. And these are what we known as capital markets. So because capital markets is very tied to how companies, how corporation derives their financial capital. So when you invest, so it has a lot to tie in with what is investing. So when you invest, you buy assets you think that will grow in value and pay you as an investor income in the future. So investing involves a lot of making of informed decision about how you are going to make your money work for you, and how you as an investor can balance the risks of investing and the rewards is going to be reaped from investing. So why do people invest? We want to invest, you and I, is because we want to grow our money. We want to enjoy financial security for a better quality of life. You want to buy better houses, you want to buy your first car, you want to enable your children to go and study, you know, so you put in, you want to grow the hard-earned money, the money you earn with your blood and sweat every day you go to work. So you have to have this financial security. And also because of inflation, it's becoming increasingly difficult to retire comfortably as just a salaried employee. So investing is a helpful tool that can be used to maintain your current lifestyle now or during retirement. And I put a footnote there because it's important to understand that investing successfully has very little to do with good luck. So there are guidelines, there are things that we can learn from financial education that you can follow to improve or increase your ability, your knowledge to achieve your investment goals. So when we look at this slide, what do we see? We see different jars. So the first jar is just like little coins coming in. So we are putting our savings in, and then the second jar, you see how this coin has sprouted a little leaf that is growing, and as you go through time, you put in more money, and the little plant is growing, and towards the end, the last jar, you see a full plant, and your jar is full of monies, full of coins, full of cash. So that is how investment can grow, how you can try to use investment to secure your financial future. So what do smart investors do when it comes to investing? So before you even go into investing, I would say that an investor, not just a smart investor, an investor should always take the time to understand the basic principle of investing and make informed investment decisions. So like what I mentioned just now, whether your goal is to send your children to university or you want to enjoy retirement with the ability to travel abroad. So investing is something essential to get you where you want to be. So what is the type of investment in the capital markets? So here there is a roadmap. The types of investment, generally what the public would know is they talk about stocks. They talk about bonds. So when you buy a stock, you own a small part of a company called a share. And then when you buy a bond, you lend money to a company or government which promises to pay you some interest payment and pay you back your money in the future date. So so I will move on to what are the types of investment in the capital markets. And here, these are the investment in the capital markets that SIDREC deal primarily on a daily basis. So again, what are stocks? What are shares? You listen in the news, in online. What are stock and shares, and how are they related to Baseerah? So what are they? They represent a unit of ownership in the company. You buy a share in the company, you can purchase it as long as you meet the requirements. Age 18, the number of shares you want to buy, or you decided to invest. And shares are traded in the stock exchange, and anyone who owns shares in a company is known as a shareholder. So from the slide, you can see how you can invest in them. It's either you buy it through the IPO, initial public offering, or you buy it through the market. It is where Baseerah, Bursa Saham Malaysia, is actively the exchange where shares are traded. Or you can invest through a fund manager or unit trust fund, where you are a retail investor. I will not name any of the funds, mutual funds there. You are existing shareholder, you buy through the fund managers. So like what I say, how can you gain from your investment? You want to make money. You want to make money through growth in the value of the company. So also as a shareholder, you might also benefit from the profit earned from the company in the form of dividends. What's the next type of investment product? It's bonds, or in Islamic terms, sukuk. So bonds are long-term debt securities offered by companies or government. They are the issuers to meet your financing needs. So they are for the purpose of raising funds by companies or government, but the underlying transaction is based on the various principles or Sharia principles. So how do you buy them? Again, because they have a high face value, making it quite expensive for retail investors. They can be issued or traded through the exchange of the SAR. So how do you gain from these bonds? You receive interest rate, but here instead of interest, we call them coupon payments. So upon maturity, the principal amount will be returned to the bondholder, but you will also receive, sukuk holders also receive income or profit from during upon maturity and or distribution. And now I come to a product that most investors or most public would know, which is unit trust funds. So unit trust funds is it's usually sold through bank or through management companies, a form of collective investment that allow you to invest in many pool or portfolio of investment. So so this includes shares, bond, derivative. The benefit of investing in unit trust is actually the ease of managing it, because you have a licensed fund manager that will be tasked to actually to seek out your investment objective, and then invest your money in the unit trust fund directly. So here unit trust fund will channel your funds directly to the various funds that they believe will achieve your objective, and they have the unit trust consultant who will market and distribute the unit trust to you. How do you gain? The very basic of income coming from the unit trust is actually in the form of dividends or income distribution. And of course, if the market goes up, then it's through capital appreciation of the unit trust. Structured warrants. This is a product that's a bit more difficult to understand, but structured warrants is issued by third-party financial institutions such as investment bank, commercial bank, or broker. So again, there is underlying instrument to the warrants. So either it can be shares, ETF, or indexes. So we have common types of structured warrants, which include call warrants. So here, when an investor with a bullish, means a very active outlook on the underlying instrument, they will seek to buy a call warrant, which gives the investor an opportunity to enjoy the upside gains when the price of the underlying instrument goes up. So again, we have the option or the type of put warrants. So when the investor has a bearish view, negative view of the underlying instrument, so he'll buy a put warrant to allow him to gain from the downward movement of the underlying instrument. Private retirement scheme. From the word retirement itself, you know that you want to put your money for your retirement, for your old age. So private retirement schemes has been formulated as a voluntary investment scheme designed to help investor or the public accumulate savings for retirement. So we know that one of the retirement schemes or something similar is KWSP. Everybody knows KWSP, EPF. So here, you have the option beside EPF to actually put your investment in PRS, private retirement scheme. Again, it's voluntary. You choose to invest based on your own retirement needs, goals, and risk appetite. So private retirement scheme, again, depends on your investment objective. Very important, whether you want growth in income, or you just want income. Here, for example, if you want growth, so you want to generate compounding, quick, accelerating capital growth by investing in equities. So if you want at the other end, if you want income, you want to generate regular income stream by investing in bonds, fixed income instruments. So you really look at what the investor want, what you want as an investor coming from your objective in your investment. So here we look at the life stages. Everybody has life stages. So when you're young, you are active, you're strong, you're healthy, you want to start your career, and like as what has been demonstrated there in the slide, it's time for you to enjoy. But should you start retirement planning? Then when you reaches middle age, you are 34, you have other priorities like growing your family, you want to buy your first house, you want to buy your first car, and you move on to closer to middle age, you're already senior in your career, and you want to secure your child's future for the education. And then you reaches your retirement age, where you want to start with your retirement planning, and eventually you enter retirement and how you're going to plan out the rest of your retirement life. So the call here is retirement planning. So whether you start earlier or whether you start later, at the end of the day, it is always better to start earlier, because the more, like, remember the jars just now I was talking about, you have like the empty jar and then you move on to life. So the earlier you start, the more you put your tabong, the more you can save. So let's look at a bit of how risk profile is being assessed, or how you look at yourself. Because when you want to invest, you need to know yourself, how you're going to accept risk, how you're going to perceive risk when you invest. So if you're like a conservative investor or a conservative person in a way, you are unable to withstand any capital loss. I put in, I cannot stand, I just want to make sure I got returns or dividend, then you're conservative. But if you're young, most of the time people are looking to balance the market risk and return. So you might be a moderate risk profile, or you are very aggressive. You are able to withstand the market going up and down and capital loss. So you are aggressive. So before you even invest, assess yourself, assess your personal risk profile, and compare it with the kind of investment that you intend to do. So now let's move on to what are the disputes in the capital market. So disputes in the capital market, you can see there that two person arguing on the table. So disputes, argument is so ingrained in human interaction, whether it's commercial, matrimonial, political, industrial, it's all carried under very dynamic condition. So it's because of expectation and demands that people make upon each other. So disputes are bound to arise. And here, how SIDREC comes in is that with SIDREC, investors has access to alternative dispute resolution to help you or investors settle monetary disputes through with your licensed capital market provider, your banks, your asset management company, your unit trust company, through us. So a bit of a background on how a SIDREC come about and our role in the capital market. So we are established under the Capital Markets and Services Act 2007, CMSA 2007, under the purview of the Securities Commission. So what we do, we act as a dispute resolution body for monetary claim made by individual investors against capital market intermediaries. So, but before that, those capital market intermediaries are our members, SIDREC members. So they deal with transactions involving capital markets, services, and products. So what is our vision? What we strive for? We want to ensure that disputes between investors and capital market providers are being resolved in a fair, reasonable, timely, efficient, and most importantly, accessible manner. Okay, so let me just give you a rundown on how our process is. When the claimant come to SIDREC, before they even file a complaint with us, they must have filed the complaint with the member banks, financial institution. So they have 90 days to resolve the complaint through the internal system of the financial service provider. And the member must inform SIDREC as an avenue for redress. So what if they are not happy with the response? What if you and I, why are investors not happy? Then they have 180 days to file a dispute with SIDREC. So what SIDREC do is that SIDREC will assess the eligibility and merits of the claim and help to understand the concern and try to resolve the dispute at the early stage. So this is case management. But what if it cannot be resolved? Then we move on to the next stage, which is mediation. Here, mediators facilitate communications between parties and try to see whether it can be resolved and whether they can have agreement or terms of settlement. But again, if parties cannot resolve it through mediation, we move on to the next stage, which is adjudication. So here, our process is also called adjudication. So here, adjudicator will issue a decision after considering the submission of the parties and whether it's fair and reasonable, dependent on the facts of the case, applicable laws, and good industry practices. ADR, alternative dispute resolution. Again, here, the main forum for resolving dispute has always been the courts. But how ADR works is that ADR supplements the court to provide a speedy resolution of disputes. So here we have mediation again. Mediation attempt by parties to resolve the dispute with a neutral third party. Role is just advisory. They may offer suggestions. Again, the resolution depends on the party themselves. And in SIDREC, the mediation proceedings are very confidential and private. Here in this slide, you can see what happened on the day of mediation. We see parties coming in, parties settling issues. We have exploration of issues. Of course, the joint session, private session, these are protocols that happens during mediation. And like what I say, if parties can come together, then there will be a settlement agreement entered on the settlement terms. So just now you heard about mediation. Let's talk about adjudication. So here, adjudication is essentially a hearing. It's a hearing of dispute where there will be an adjudicator that will make a decision on the dispute. Here you see the slides. It's the difference between mediation and adjudication. I will just have a very slight comparison. Adjudicator will assess the case, give a decision on the case compared to mediator. Mediator facilitate parties to talk, to help to dispute, to resolve the dispute before them and to come to agreement acceptable. So one is an informal discussion and negotiation, one is a hearing. So is SIDREC decision binding on all parties? SIDREC, if you look into our how we work, we have two schemes. So yes, adjudication decision under our mandatory scheme. Mandatory scheme, it's for claims that's below 250,000. So if you're unhappy with the SIDREC decision, you are free to explore other evidence to resolve your claim. But if the claimants accept the decision, then they will enter into a settlement agreement and this will be binding on both parties. So for voluntary scheme, which is for claim exceeding 250,000, our adjudication decision is binding on both claimant and our member. What are the advantages of ADR? Like what I reiterate, speed, fast, choice. We have a panel of impartial neutrals. Informal is flexible, and more importantly, it is private, it is confidential, and economical or lower cost compared to what you could spend for court litigation, and there's also the comfort of it being final. A bit of a background on who are SIDREC's mediators or adjudicators. If you look into our website, their biodata is there, but essentially they are expert in the capital markets because we deal with, like what I said, the products that's being marketed in the market, unit trust or so forth. So they have the knowledge and the experience to help parties that come to SIDREC resolve a dispute. I will share a little bit of insights into SIDREC cases. For example, case number 1 is on sales practice of members. Here we have a very common scenario that comes as a complaint to SIDREC quite often. So you as an investor, you have money like 100,000 in your FD, and then you go to the bank and you were approached by a relationship manager to try to invest in the product. So wow, so the representation to you from the relationship manager is that 18.85% per annum. You feel, oh wow, this is so high compared to FD. I mean, the misrepresentation or whatever was on the FD. So yes, the relationship manager is a special promo. Please sign here. There's some info for you. You go home and read it. So after the investor invested, he realized that, you know how market goes up and down. Some days when the market is up, you make money. When days market are down, you lost money. So here, investor lost money. Investment now is only worth 70,000. So of course, who the investor is going to turn his finger at? It will be at the relationship manager or the person he sold the product to. Investor angry, says, I never want to invest in anything that caused me to lose my principal. I want my money back with FD interest. So here, the issue is whether there is any mis-selling or not. Relationship manager will say that, no, you invested in a product that has a variable price unit trust product and is clear in the documents I passed to you. So these are cases, example, that SIDREC deals with when it comes to sales practices of members. So again, like what I said, misrepresentation, false statements that lead to person to invest or lead person to a mistake. So how do we assess our disputes when it relates to misrepresentation? We look at a few considerations, whether the member made the alleged representation to claimant. So all these are questions we SIDREC case managers, during case manager will ask the member, again, also to the investors that lodging the complainant. So if yes, was the representation fault? Was there reliance? Whether it's reasonable for him to rely on the representation, and whether, most importantly, whether claimants suffer a loss because of the representation. So let's look now at
bagaimanakah suatu pertikaian boleh terjadi? Apakah yang dapat SIDREC lakukan bagi pertikaian anda? Mari lihat contoh-contoh kes yang diterima oleh SIDREC. Jadi dalam kes pertama, pelabur telah serahkan beberapa cek bagi tujuan melabur dalam mana-mana dana yang dipilih oleh seorang konsultan unit amanah atau UTC. Dalam kes ini, UTC tersebut telah menggunakan cek-cek yang diserahkan bagi membuat pelaburan peribadi bawah nama UTC tersebut dan bukan bawah nama pelabur yang berkenaan. Setelah hal ini terbongkar, UTC kembalikan sebahagian jumlah yang telah dilaburkan, namun pelabur menuntut jumlah yang belum dikembalikan kepadanya. Dalam kes ini, adjudicator telah pertimbangkan bahawa pelabur tersebut pernah menyerahkan wang secara terus kepada UTC lain dan tidak menuruti setengah proses yang telah ditetapkan oleh ahli SIDREC yang berkenaan. Maka, adjudicator dalam kes ini memihak kepada pelabur namun memberi jumlah ganti rugi kepada pelabur yang kurang daripada jumlah yang dituntut, memandangkan pelabur dianggap telah menyumbang kepada kerugian yang dialaminya. Baiklah, sekarang kita boleh tengok kajian kes yang kedua juga mengenai unit amanah. So dalam kes ini, pelabur telah melabur melalui seorang UTC dan kemudian mendapat tahu bahawa pelaburan tersebut tidak dibuat seperti yang diarahkan. Jadi pelabur menuntut keseluruhan jumlah pelaburan yang telah diserahkan kepada UTC tersebut. Dalam kes ini, adjudicator telah mempertimbangkan bahawa pelabur dia hanya serahkan wang tunai kepada UTC kerana UTC tersebut menolak bayaran melalui cek. Dan juga UTC tersebut mendakwa bahawa dia masih berkhidmat untuk ahli berkenaan sedangkan perkhidmatannya telah dihentikan. Jadi adjudicator memihak kepada pelabur lah. Dalam kes ini, adjudicator memihak sepenuhnya kepada pelabur dengan mengambil kira faktor latar belakang pendidikan dan kekangan bahasa pelabur. Jadi pelabur dapat sepenuhnya tuntutan yang dibuat dengan SIDREC. Hai, saya Fatihah, pegawai penyelidik daripada Pusat Penyelesaian Pertikaian Industri Security ataupun SIDREC. Jadi tadi kita dah lihat kajian kes-kes yang terdapat di SIDREC. Mari kita ketahui dengan lebih lanjut mengenai SIDREC. SIDREC ditubuhkan bagi menyediakan jalan penyelesaian alternatif bagi menyelesaikan pertikaian keuangan antara pelabur dan pengantara pasaran modal yang merupakan ahli SIDREC tanpa melalui mahkamah. Jika anda melabur melalui syarikat yang merupakan ahli SIDREC dan anda mengalami kerugian keuangan, anda boleh merujuk tuntutan anda kepada SIDREC. SIDREC menyediakan bantuan pakar yang bebas dan servis SIDREC percuma bagi tuntutan yang tidak melebihi RM250,000. Antara jenis pertikaian yang dibawa kepada SIDREC adalah kerugian keuangan yang berpunca daripada salah jual unit amanah oleh konsultan unit amanah dan gangguan teknikal dalam platform dagangan share yang disediakan oleh broker. Terdapat 3 proses penyelesaian pertikaian di SIDREC iaitu pengurusan kes, mediasi dan juga adjudikasi. Apabila tuntutan difailkan di SIDREC, SIDREC akan menyiasat kesemua isu yang ditimbulkan. Kemudian, SIDREC akan mengendalikan setiap kes berdasarkan merit masing-masing dan secara adil dan munasabah. Baiklah, sekarang kita ada beberapa pesanan daripada SIDREC. Yang pertama, sebelum anda buat pelaburan anda, pastikan anda kaji mengenai pelaburan itu terlebih dahulu. Yang kedua, pastikan anda melabur dengan sebuah syarikat pelaburan yang sah. Yang ketiga, pastikan anda tidak menyerahkan wang secara tunai kepada mana-mana wakil pengantara pasaran modal anda. Yang keempat, pastikan anda sentiasa semak penyata pelaburan anda. Yang kelima, pastikan anda sentiasa ada rekod mengenai pelaburan anda dan setiap transaksi yang dilakukan anda pelaburan anda. Dan yang terakhir sekali, pastikan anda membuat pertimbangan yang sewajarnya terhadap setiap janji pengantara pasaran modal dan mana-mana wakil mereka. Jika anda ingin mengetahui dengan lebih lanjut mengenai SIDREC, anda boleh hubungi SIDREC melalui email ataupun melalui telefon. Anda juga boleh melayari laman web SIDREC. Bye!
So yes, that's the presentation that we have prepared for the participants. That'll be the end of my presentation as well. Any questions that I can take from the floor regarding our role as SIDREC or regarding how SIDREC contributes to the dispute resolutions in the capital markets?
Okay, thank you, madam, for sharing your knowledge this morning. It was such an inspirational session. Now we will continue with the Q&A session. If anyone has question, you can unmute the microphone or leave the question in the chat box. Perhaps we can wait for 5 minutes for the audience to write their question. While waiting for all viewers from YouTube Live and also in this Zoom session, you are kindly fill in the evaluation form as the feedback for our future improvement for our next session. And don't forget, for all IM students, you may fill in your attendance that have been shared in the chat box.
We hope, I'm sorry, we hope everybody is clear. Maybe they're confused listening to 2 sessions at the same time, and we both of us shared quite a lot of cases and everything, right? Informations. So maybe they're taking some time to digest it, right,
Yes.
Winnie?
But if they have been scammed, to whom they should launch their report? Whether to SIDREC first or to directly to the police?
Maybe I can take that question. Because the keyword I'm hearing is scam. So the moment a public or an investor has been scammed, the right recourse, now I'm saying from my experience as a practitioner, the first thing you should do is to lodge a police report. So of course, this will go to commercial crimes, and then the next, after lodging the police report, I believe this is one of the documents that the OFS, my counterpart, would require when it comes to scams. So so if it's a banking scam, then like what Puan Malini has mentioned, it goes to OFS. Yeah.
I'm quite currently we have know that there is a durian scam that has been shared by Madam Malini just now. So majority of the if I'm not mistaken, majority of the Malay are quite interested in durian scam. So
Not only Malay, all everyone.
yeah,
Malaysians
I think all
generally.
the Malaysians are into the durian. But in terms of, is it true that the durians there is an investment in durian basically, or it's just
No, it's not an investment. It's like, you know, you can buy durian online. So if you click the link, then you pay the payment when we will deliver to your house. Remember, during COVID, it was very famous that people cannot go out, so they started delivering durian, right? So then after that, it's been a practice ready to deliver all kind of foods, fish, whatever, seafoods, chickens, raw meats, you know. So what they do, so they're thinking that they're ordering a durian of high premium one. So they go and click the link and key in the details to pay the online kan. So bila dia klik, dia automatically dia dekat sana dia mirror dah dia punya screen. Bila dia mirror, so dia boleh nampak you punya banking username, password semua. So bila you cuba buat payment, dia tak go through. But then all the information dia sudah nampak dekat sana. So bila you dah keluar, you kata okay, payment tak lalu lah, nanti saya try, lepas tu dia ada tutup. So bila dia dah nampak, dia boleh dia sudah tahu you punya ID dengan password sekarang. So dia boleh hack you punya phone, and then it will be directed to their device lah. And then that is, sometimes they don't direct also, but they manage to go to your banking account, not using the banking app, go to the banking account. So use the username, password, everything valid, quickly do the transaction. So when they quickly do transaction, by the time you receive your notification, sometimes on the spot, kalau you pegang phone, you nampak notification on the spot. Kadang-kadang you letak silent ke apa in the meeting, then later only you notice, 30 minutes gone, and then you notice and you call them, the bank, then the bank bila nak check, duit dah keluar dah. So this is how the scam happens lah. So that not only for durian, seafood ada, made ada, kan dia kata made 4 hours, RM60 only, promotional, baru buka. Tapi tak ada pun such agency. So you ingat, oh selalu 90 ni, RM30 kurang ni, okay let's try. You know, that kind of thing. So they said, you click this, you can get a voucher of RM20. So you go and click that one. And then you must key in your detail. So macam ni lah dia dapatkan data. So that's why people say, don't ever insert your banking credentials into any website unless it is a verified one. So best pergi kepada banking app you. Ataupun jangan dari WhatsApp tu klik pergi banking account, payment gateway tu jangan.
Tapi memang reality memang tak ada investment in terms of durian punya investment ke?
Investment, no, that one we need, maybe you can tell. We don't have any investment scam lah on durian.
Basically time during the PKP time lah, like you mentioned just now, there are many investment ads in the social media. One of it is that attract my attention that time is durian investment, whereby you put some money, then your money will assume as 10
partner for the durian.
10 tree of the durian is yours. You invest to 10 trees. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That kind of scam, no. Because that kind of scam, we have never received yet so far, unless I've missed it. So mostly kita tu nak beli, nak makan punya lah.
There's one question for my friends. If you have if they want to report their case to SIDREC, do they need a lawyer with them, or on your side you will provide a lawyer to handle the case?
So SIDREC works on the basis that there is legal representation or legal counsel is not allowed actually. Yes. So if you're going to have a counsel in, you also have to be fair. It means that the member also going to have their counsel in. So most of the time, you see the balance the balance of power between the investor and the member. So usually there's no legal representation. But before you come to SIDREC, you may want to seek your advice from your lawyers on the right way to resolve your complaints or your loss or your disputes. Yeah. So SIDREC, we usually give heads up. Maybe you want to talk to your lawyers first before you come to SIDREC, whether SIDREC is the right avenue to resolve your matter, or maybe if the amount is big, you know, I mean, you are concerned about it, perhaps you can seek your advice from your lawyer. Perhaps you might want to go to court instead. But in SIDREC, under the mandatory scheme for claims, like I say, below 250,000, and all this you can actually find on our website, our terms of reference. Legal representation is not allowed. Yeah. So, but for voluntary scheme above 250,000, legal representation, I mean, as in their presence being in the process, is allowed. But of course, they will write in officially lah. Yeah, because it has to be fair. If the claimant has a counsel, means the member also should be entitled to the counsel as well. So usually for mandatory scheme, what we're seeing is that they are public. They if they claim it's just a few thousand, maybe they don't feel it's just not cost effective to have the counsel there. So again, but if before coming to SIDREC, you want to talk to your lawyers, by all means go ahead. Get your informed decision on how you want to resolve your matter. Yeah.
I think if I can summarize what Madam Winnie mentioned, is that in order to launch a report to SIDREC, there is no need a lawyer, because basically on your side will handle in terms of how to mitigate and also handling the case.
Okay, so when because the legalist I'm hearing is like mitigation, is very like how you're going to start how you're going to be in the legal proceedings. For SIDREC, it's a body where you come to complain to us. There'll be a claim form that's been provided. You tell us who you're claiming against, your information, and what is your breakdown of your loss. So that's how it's going to be. And a SIDREC case manager will take on that complaint and assess whether it's eligible according to our terms of reference. Means that it's against our member. If you're complaining against, like, you know, maybe one of our bankers who is in our list is there in our website. But if it's not against in our list, the intermediary is not in our list, maybe it's some Sri Berhad or some companies, Afat Sri Berhad, it's not our member. So we cannot also take in that complaint. So so those requirements has to be fulfilled before SIDREC can take on the claim. But what I can say is that even though the claim is small, and we have small claims like 14 ringgit, but if it's a claim against our member, we will file in, we will assess your eligibility, and if it's eligible, even for that small claim, because the quantification of the claim doesn't matter to us, it's the merits of the case, we will still take it on as well. Yeah, so that is how SIDREC works lah. So we are fair. We will see the case of the claimant. We will see the case. We will see whether there's any merits on the complaints against the member lah. Yeah. So SIDREC works in a very assessment, very investigative way. SIDREC case managers are all legally trained. My team. So my panel are also legal experts. So we will view it this way.
I see. Okay. I think there is no other question. So again, thank you to Madam Winnie and Madam Malini for today's session. Inshallah, we will meet again in the near future. So to audience, you may follow us on our social media and also our YouTube to rewatch today's session. And if you have any question regarding to this morning session, you may comment in the chat box, and we will ask the speakers after today's session. Okay. Inshallah, we look forward to see everyone again in the next Baseerah Talk series. Together we seek knowledge and improve our understanding. So we will now end our session with the recitation of Tasbih Kafarah and Salat. Thank you, Madam Ine and Madam Malini.
Thank you for inviting us
Thank you
again.
for inviting us.
Oh, now there's a question.
Okay, now there is one question. Can we take this one question?
Yeah, I think it's to us, to OFS.
Is there any possible, even we didn't click the link, but the money still deduct?
There must be some way like that. We usually receive this kind of complaints where I did not click to any link at all. I didn't key in. Maybe you have accidentally done it, or maybe sometimes you did not key in your details, but you have clicked the link to open and see what is it inside. We do that, right? We have the tendency when we receive a link, we open and see first, and then when you know that you need to key in, then you close it back. So we couldn't verify, but most of the time, those who are saying that I never click, but there are money deducted is mostly related to the Facebook scams, like the maid and the cleaning services. So far at OFS that we notice.
I just want to say something since we are on the topic of scams. SC has an investors list. This is in relation to capital markets as to the companies, that is not regulated scam companies. So I would actually suggest that the participants go to the SC websites, look at the investors list, to learn more about what investment is actually being licensed, being regulated by the Securities Commission. So you have an informed decision or not to go to these persons or these investment gurus or these investment companies to invest. So you are very informed on the scams, the updated scam, and FC updates just like the OFS on the most current scams that's happening, but in relation to capital markets.
I see. In terms of URL address of the SIDREC and OFS, I think we will communicate with the speakers to get the link, and we will provide in the YouTube description so that the viewers can rewatch the video and also go through your website for other services. Okay. With that, I end today's session with thank you to Madam Winnie and Madam Malini again.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so
See
much.
you again.